So, welcome to you all. We've been doing these Christmas stories, as we call them, with Aaron now since 1989. That was the first year. A long time to have a program ongoing. And I love this annual Christmas stories with Aaron. Some of you know that the book, 47 Stories, came from selections from these stories. So tonight, Colette and Yeshua has sometimes done them through me along with Aaron. Tonight, Colette will be channeling Yeshua so that they're able to have a dialogue, which is very nice. So I remember back in 1989, 1990, a dozen or so of us gathered by my fire in my living room. Right now, there's a nice fire burning in their house, sitting in there. I remember us gathered by the fire and Aaron talking about his memories. And slowly we had more and more people coming. Some years, people bringing their children who were, I see Kevin and Colleen. I remember your children lying on the floor, wrapped in their pajamas and blankets and pillows, listening to the stories. They're good memories. My blessings and love to you. I am Aaron. Thank you for being with us tonight. Long ago, when this earth was young, there was that of darkness that did not want the earth to come into being. Of course, there is no duality. Darkness and light are both expressions of the unconditioned or divine. The light is a spacious expression. The darkness is a contracted expression. And as it contracts, it cuts off the light. The world came into being for just this purpose, to help beings to choose of their own free will, to support the light essence, and turn their backs on the darkness, so to speak. Not really turn their backs, not push it away, but choose. I choose not to enhance the darkness, to be an expression of the light. Light is, to my seeing, the primary expression, the first expression, light and love of that unconditioned or divinity. There are places in the multiverse that are very much in darkness, but I want you to remember that light is an expression of the unconditioned. And there is no place where light does not exist, only places where it is more spacious and available. Because the light is the unconditioned, it's expression of the unconditioned. It is an ultimate reality. Darkness is not an ultimate reality, but a relative reality. It arises because of conditions and passes away. Darkness is impermanent. Light is essential, forever. Give me a minute. Barbara is still, her energy is not fully centered after that half hour of trying to figure out how to get this started. I am in the background, reminding Barbara of a song that helps to center her, and some of you may know it. She learned it at the casa. Here I am, Lord. I can't sing it. No singing voice. I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry. All who live in dark and pain, my hand shall save. I who brought the stars of night, brought the stars of light, I who brought the stars of light, I will make their darkness bright. I will bring my love to them. Shall I sin? Then the refrain, here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. This is the answer that the light gives to the darkness. This is the commitment to bring forth the light, to hold the light as answer to the darkness, and to remind the darkness that it contains the light, and it also may choose the light, or of its own free will, it may keep itself in darkness for as long as it wishes. But it may not force that darkness on anyone. Through the history of the world, there have been times of increasing light and then diminishing light. Increasing light again and diminishing light. But always, as the cycles went on, more and more light available. With that heartfelt feeling, here I am, Lord. I have heard you calling in the light, in the night. Here I am, love. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, where you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. Long before Yeshua came into the earth, there were these cycles of light and darkness, light and darkness. But always moving toward increasing light. Longer periods of light, lessening force of darkness. But always these cycles. 2,000 years ago, the earth was in a cycle of darkness. Today, I hesitate to call it a cycle of darkness. The darkness is taking a stand, pushing back because it fears the light. The more the light pushes back against the darkness with contraction, the more the light moves into the darkness. But when the light says no in a spacious and loving way to the darkness, but firm, clear, no, we are not going to get pulled into distortion, lying, hatred, greed, bullying. No, we are going to hold to love. The more that happens, the more the possibility of light to touch the whole earth. This is what you are working with today, as our world was working with it 2,000 years ago. At that time, experiencing the devolution of high energy, the earth devolving into darkness, there was a great response from loving spirit to help support the bringing forth of light, the grounding of light into the earth. Yeshua didn't just happen. There were centuries of planning for his birth. so many different beings that taught so many essential skills to allow his coming with a very high energy. And there was his love to commit to this path, although he understood that it was going to be very hard. We're so grateful that he chose to come. He has said to us many times, there is nothing that he does that we cannot do. But we don't trust that yet. We have to learn and remember, we also are the awakened ones. And now it's our turn to live this light. At this point, I'm just going to pass this over to Yeshua. Thank you. I am Aaron.
I am Yeshua. I'm sure I say this every time we get on the Zoom screen, but it is so delightful to see your energies. I wish you could see them. It is like a kaleidoscope of dancing auras, if you will. Each one unique, each beautiful, each precious, and each one of you needed at this time. You came for this time. You may question some days why you did that, as Colette does when she's being cranky. She doesn't mind me sharing that. But yes, you came, and you are important, and you are needed, and you have come with purpose. Your inner beingness knows this clearly, why you have come. But the incarnation, as you know, can be so incredibly difficult, and you are buffeted by the energies around the earth at this time. The energies coming from Gaia, from the solar fields, from your news media, from just the agitation and the pace of life on your planet, especially in more civilized, well, they call them civilized cultures. I don't know. I don't know if technologically advanced cultures can always be called civilized, but you understand my meaning. So here you are, not by mistake. And you each have something so unique to bring. What you will bring will not be the same as anyone else on this screen, because you are a unique expression of the Christ. There is only one Christ. You have heard me say this. Just as there's only one creator, one creation, but beyond countings of fractals of the creator, each like a snowflake, each entirely different. And so this is who you are. And I say this to remind you every single time, because I think you forget, and life is hard. But so now here we are at the season of Christmas in your cultural and religious histories. And yes, I came 2,000 years ago with a specific purpose, and you are here now with a specific purpose. And I encourage you to spend time contemplating that. Having a specific purpose beyond just radiating love and light is not really necessary. Each of you are unique and will bring your gifts. But when you think of your life now, and you think of the way the world is and the stressors that are here, when you think of feeling passion for something, if you tune into your heart, where can you sense that passion and that desire and that aliveness? Or in what things that do you engage in that brings that forward? Each one of you will be unique. Some may feel that when they are cooking. I'm thinking of Terry here. Or some when you're walking in nature, some when you are making music. It doesn't matter what it is. There's no ranking of what one's passion should be and what's more important or more valuable to the world than something else. Your beingness is the value. Your beingness is important. But to keep rebirthing that, knowing that you are the Christ, to continue to nurturing the light. The life can be so hard as if your candle winds down and it burns out and it's just the light is gone. Well, it's truly not gone, but you've lost the connection to it. So we are going to move on sharing different stories. But before I do, I just want to remind you that you are the Christ. You each have something very unique, and not just one thing, but very unique to bring to this world. And it's not really what you do, it is who you are. So continue to release those things that block your light. Continue to tune into when you feel the contraction and the light dimming, to opening it back out. And just offer the unique beauty of who you are to the world. That truly is enough. If you were laying in your bed, not feeling well and not able to do anything, that doesn't dim your light. Nothing can dim your light except what passes through like a cloud and you don't have awareness of it. So be aware of the clouds and then just blow them away. And they'll come back because this is life. So I will pass this back to my brother Aaron, to where shall we proceed in telling our Christmas stories? I am Yeshua. I will stay in the body.
Thank you, Yeshua. This is Barbara, and I'm going to ask a question here. Because you and Aaron use somewhat different vocabularies, I wonder if you could articulate a bit with a bit of clarity for people what you mean when you say the Christ. I understand you're not referring to you who were called the Christ. And I know Aaron uses the term the unconditioned or awakened consciousness. So I'd appreciate it if you could share for all of us what you mean by the term the Christ.
Yes. And I appreciate that question, Barbara. So the unconditioned light is the basis of the all creation. There is nothing that really exists that does not come from the love light of the creative source. And when I use the term the Christ, that term to me is one who embodies the light of the Creator. And everything that comes from the Creator is light, is love. It cannot be otherwise. It cannot be different from the Creator. It can take different expressions and explore different paths, but it cannot lose its connection with Source, or it would not exist. So when I say to you that each of you are the Christ, you have come to offer the light. You have heard it said that Christ, that Yeshua, that Jesus was the light of the world, because that's how it was interpreted, that I, as one expression of the Creator, of the light of Source, Christ consciousness, took form and came into this world in this particular incarnation to remind others that they are also the light. That one does not need to look to other sources of authority or other spiritual traditions or any accolades or degrees or credentials or skills that one may develop. Those are important and they are secondary, but they are not essence. So when I say Christ conscious, when I say the Christ, I'm meaning that you are the light of the Creator. This is what I mean. Barbara, would you question further on that?
Thank you for clarifying that for us. Aaron is going to come in. I am Aaron. Let's go on to a second term here. Creator. There is a creator in the sense of ground of all creation, which what it does is simply to express. It holds the intention to express. And then there is the other meaning of creator as a doer. Somebody who says, I will create, and there's an I to it. I'd appreciate if you would clarify how you use these terms, especially the term creator.
Thank you, Erin. So when I use the term creator, it is related to the term I just explained as being the Christ, as being the light of the world, as being in unity with Source, because you cannot be otherwise. And so adding the term creator to that, I use it in the sense that each of you can become conscious of who you are and make conscious choice of how you want to contribute to the unfolding of the creation, or in this case, the unfolding of Earth and the unfolding of yourself. Most beings live in reactivity. You respond to the stimulus of life, whatever it might be. You make choices within what is offered within whatever culture you live in, and move through life with maybe some idea of what you want to do in your life, but in reactivity to what buffets you. A creator is one who can see a larger picture and consciously bring their full beingness and their love and their light into that system and choose how they wish to interact in that system for good, to increase the love, to increase the light. Your essence is the creator's essence. You cannot be otherwise. But as a human expression, you can consciously choose to act as a creator. And you have heard us use the term co-creator also, because all beings co-create together, but most of them unconsciously. But you can do this with choice and with consciousness. You won't stay there, no being does. But to become a creator, one must move out of simply reacting to what occurs, and one must make choice how they will move forward. I pass this back to you. I am Yeshua.
Thank you, Yeshua. This clarification helps people to broaden their understanding. So the importance of being a co-creator, not just reaching out and saying do, but I participate in everything. And every part of me, the light and the darkness, integrated, are part of what I co-create. And I must attend to the darkness, but not be reactive to the darkness. And this is one of the most important early things you taught me. Sharing with the group. Some of you have heard me talk of this before, but I was walking with my son Mark to see Yeshua just after my wife had died in childbirth. I left the infant at home with relatives, and the younger children and Mark, the eldest, came with me. I was hurt, I was angry, I was afraid. I was reactive. I was not being careful where I was walking. Approaching too near the edge of a slippery slope, I fell off and down quite a distance and broke my leg. Mark was able to get the attention of people passing by, and they tied my leg, splinted it, brought me up to the path, put me in a cart, and carried me a ways to where Yeshua was. I wanted him to simply fix it, to fix the leg, to fix the pain. And Yeshua, of course, being Yeshua and with his vast understanding, did not just say, okay, all fixed. It's up to me to fix it. And not even to fix it, but to take care of it. So I was quite impatient lying there, wanting to get home, wanting the pain to go away, the pain in the broken leg, the pain in my heart. And Yeshua just came and sat with me every day. And I was angry at him because I knew that he had the ability to touch that leg and make it better so I could get out of that. But what I needed was to stay there for that month. Not to allow the leg to heal, but to allow my heart to heal. Yeshua sat with me and other friends, talking to me, helping me to reconnect with a love and light in my heart, helping me to release my anger. At that time, I questioned him. Why are you doing this to me? But it didn't take me long to understand. Yeshua, that lesson was so precious for me. I pause.
Thank you, my beloved friend, for sharing that. And I think the story that Aaron has just shared with you about losing his wife, coming to visit with me, hoping and wanting that I would somehow take it away. And of course, naturally so. There's no judgment in there. And then frustration that I did not. And in truth, and people still come sometimes and say, Yeshua, will you fix this? Will you tell me what to do? Will you take it away? But everything that comes to you, you have co-created to a degree for your own purposes. I am not saying that Aaron co-created his wife's passing because she had her own choices. But in a sense, he co-created the fall because in coming to see me, then he needed time to heal. And that time away allowed many changes to occur. Grieving, reconciliation, questioning, making choice, moving through a pattern of healing that needed to happen before he could move on, integrating what has occurred to a certain degree and be able to move on differently with a more open heart, with more hope. Everything that occurs in your life is essentially co-created. Now, many things could occur to get you to the same point, so it doesn't necessarily mean that exact situation had to occur, but that crucible, that crux, that issue, you have co-created to bring you to a transition point where you can integrate what has come before, make peace, forgiveness, whatever is required in your situation, and in a sense, have a time of gestation so that you can be reborn into what comes next differently than you were when the challenge occurred. And I could say more about it, but I think at this point I will pass it back to my friend Aaron.
Thank you, Yeshua. I am Aaron. Everything is cycles and recycles. We keep coming to a new point, a new challenge. The old challenge, the ancient challenge, just coming back again and again and again. What do I bring to it now? And then 100 years, 1,000 years later, what do I bring to it? What new insight, what new skill, what new power born of love? What do I bring to it? So many of you come to me and to Yeshua these days saying, why is the world the way it is? What's broken? How do we fix it? Instead of the more relevant question, what might we open to help bring in the high energy, the light that is there? And that's really the same question people were asking 2,000 years ago. Many of you were there, but 2,000 years ago, you did not yet have the skills that you have now, nor the readiness to hold yourself, to know yourself as light and ground yourself as a light. There are so many of you throughout this earth who better understand how to do that now, are more ready for that work, to bring awakened consciousness, Christ consciousness, out into this earth and to touch the world with that love. There are many skills involved. Simple skills, like when anger arises, knowing anger as anger. That which is aware of anger is not angry. So you do not negate the anger and say, oh, no, no anger. Yes, anger has arisen. I touch the anger with kindness, not with hatred or contempt. I will not enact the anger, but I acknowledge that anger has arisen, and that happens because I am human. And this is the gift you have been given, being human, to experience the emotional body without getting caught in the stories of the emotional body, but consciously choosing light. And this was the greatest seeds of this were planted 2,000 years ago. I'll pass this on to Yeshua. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. So each of you can plant seeds of light, as Aaron was just saying. And each of you do. And I would like to segue from this a little bit into the knowing who you are and your co-creative gifts. Each of you, in your essence, is the Christ, is the light. And I know each of you, and each of you have intention to bring that. And each of you bring much love in various ways into this earth plane. Love to those you are in relationship with, sharing your gifts in small ways or big ways. And there's really not a distinction, but sometimes it might be just sitting with an open heart and having tea with a friend. Or you may co-create organizations or other things or works of art, but they're all really the same thing. But I offer something for your consideration here. You are each so hard on yourselves. You are so willing to offer your gifts, to offer your time and attention and your love where you see it is needed, and you generously do. What would it be like if you were as generous and kind and forgiving as accepting of yourself? And as I say, I know you, and I know how often you, as your term goes, beat yourself up. There's a difference between awareness and judgment. There's a difference between discernment and condemnation. There's a difference between being able to appraise things realistically to whatever degree you are capable, but then holding yourself to a standard that is practically impossible for any human to keep. So when we're talking about bringing the light, I wanted to make sure I brought to you that, first of all, you cannot not be light. You cannot not be a co-creator. This is who you are. But can you have compassion for yourself as much as you have compassion for others? Because when you clamp down your light in self-judgment, which at times borders on actually hating yourself, I'm not speaking to any particular one of you, and just enumerating failure after failure after failure, looking at the future and thinking you can't change something, or you can't change yourself, or you keep doing the same thing over again. there's no perfect human being. Can you be as kind to yourself? Can you keep opening your heart to yourself as much as you try to open it to others? And there is more I could say about it, but I wanted to make sure I brought that up. Love yourselves. It is hard because you know where you think you should have done something differently, or when you get frustrated, or habits you have that you think aren't in your best interest. Well, you are human and you are not going to be perfect in this lifetime. You will not make every decision that you think is perfect or handle every relationship or situation perfectly. But what you can do is every single time you have awareness that you're either closing your heart towards yourself or to others, or in other ways contracting, you can just say, wait a minute, and open the channel. And it will come back, or perhaps you get in an argument or a disagreement with a loved one, and you don't handle it the way you wished you would have, or you wish they would have. But there's no harm that has been done. Everything that contracts can open. Everything that moves into darkness can move into light. So you learn to flow and you learn to dance. You learn to forgive yourself. You learn to appreciate yourself. But perfection is not required, and I don't think it's possible in the human form. I pass this on to my brother. I am Yeshua.
I am Aaron. Thank you, Yeshua. So I have a quick question here for you. Back when we were boys together, Yeshua and Nathaniel, you beat yourself up. When you made a mistake, you, not in literal form, but banged your head against it. How could I have done that? The time when you accidentally hit a bird with your slingshot. You were devastated. How could I have done that? How did you learn to let go? I know that your mother Mary helped a lot, that she was a wonderful and wise teacher to you and to many of us. She was one of the people who most taught me how to be present with my emotional body and acknowledge, just as there is a physical body, there is an emotional body, and sometimes both of them hurt. How to hold space. But will you share with us a bit about how you learned this, what memories you have?
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Actually, that is an important thing to talk about. And I'm smiling because I remember not only the incident when I accidentally hit the bird, but I'm remembering other incidents as I was growing up. Sometimes there might be this assumption, well, you were the Christ. You must have been this most placid, obedient child that never got themselves into trouble. Well, let me just say that was not true, because I was very intense, and from a very young age, I knew I had a purpose to fulfill. I wasn't completely blind to it, although it took me time to grow into knowing that more and more. And sometimes I thought, well, I was absolutely right about what I wanted to do. And so I could be very, I guess you would say, stubborn and intense. And my mother and my grandma Anna used to say, all right, Yeshua, come here. When I was little, they'd sit me on their lap. And they would just talk to me, and they would invite me to look inside and tune in to not just the thoughts and not just the emotions, but what was happening in not only my physical body, but my energy field. And to sit with that for a time. Now, when you're 3, 4 years old, that doesn't really register too much. But what they kept calling me back to presence, calling me back to presence. And so eventually I became more comfortable with the emotional body. But even as Yeshua, as a man in 20s and 30s, early 30s, there were times when I was so enraged by what I saw in the world. Not enraged at an individual, let us say, that was causing harm. I had an ability to understand that people react out of conditioning and their life experiences and out of fear. I had an understanding of that. But when I would look at the bigger things that were happening in the world and in politics and different other things, especially groups of individuals within the society that would marginalize or harm others, sometimes the anger just really rose up and I needed to take myself aside and be with it. But I learned, especially from my mother and grandmother Anna, that the fact that I had such intense emotions was not bad. There was no judgment to be had. The intensity was because of my deep love. Just like for you, if you feel intense emotions, deep love and deep knowing that it doesn't have to be this way, but then needing to calm myself down enough to look at my own reactivity and to realize, especially if you're talking about individuals, they can only be where they are at that time. That does not mean, of course, we as humans don't engage in helping change our society. But I had to move from my contraction, from my judgment, from my fear into a space of just spaciousness that could hold it all. Even if I couldn't feel the feeling of deep love at that moment, if I sat with it, all the rest would release. And this is one of the ways I learned, and something that you also can and are working with. I am Yeshua. I pass this back.
Thank you, Yeshua. I'm having a smiling moment here, feeling a bit like the host on the TV program with the person I'm interviewing. And yeah, Yeshua, would you like to tell us about emotions and about world peace and
Mhm.
light and whatever else? We come forward 2,000 years, so from Yeshua's time we go back 2,000 years. Evolving, spinning around and dropping down a bit again, and then evolving. And then again in cycles. Learning the ability to be present with this humanness, this gift of being human, for that's what it is. Many of you think it's a heavy weight, but it's a gift, and you chose it. Free will choice. You did not have to come. You volunteered. And yes, you got caught in karma, and you kept coming back. But still, there are other ways to grow past that karma. Long and intensive ways that are also challenging. But because of your intention to help bring light, more light into the earth, you've come back. And as Yeshua just said, this involves compassion for the human with the physical, emotional, energetic, mental bodies. The human that is within this cycle of conditioned arising. When the conditions are present, this emotion or body sensation or thought will arise. And the question is not about whether it arises, but how you're going to relate to it. For me, so many lifetimes, so many centuries, coming back into similar conditions of self-blame, of anger at others, looking for something to blame. Before there was some degree of awakening, It's just all arising from conditions, and I am part of the conditions. And if I respond with compassion to those conditions, it changes everything. When I respond with contraction and hatred, that changes everything. Herein is the free will to see what is happening within me and to respond with compassion, patience, loving kindness, and just the intention to love. And this is the heart of our practice, to keep coming back to this moment, aware of what's going on. This afternoon, Barbara wanted to spend a few hours resting and meditating, but she got on the phone to make an important doctor's appointment to a doctor's office for Hal, to get something she's been trying to get for several months. He had an eye exam in early September, and they had not yet sent the prescription to the optical center. She has called in numerous times. Finally, today she got through to somebody who said, I'll try to help. Other people have helped and said, well, we'll send the prescription, but they didn't do it. So this woman said, I have no record of his having been here. He was not here. I can't send a new prescription because he has not been here in the past year. And she said, yes, on this day. And it was hot, and he left, and he had to wait outside for the city handicap bus. And finally somebody let him in. She said, oh, I let him in. Oh, I remember. He was here. Finally, confirmation. She said, let me go talk to the doctor. So they had lost the record somehow. We're talking here about Barbara's emotions. She was contracted. She was angry. She said, I want to get this done so I can meditate and find spaciousness. And I said to her, if you cannot find spaciousness in the chaos of this moment, how are you going to be able to find it? The spaciousness is right here in this moment, not someplace else. So she began to meditate and to chant, and she was sitting here with her deaf phone by the side, on hold sometimes for 10-15 minutes before somebody got back to her. Disconnected a few times and had to start over. Anger coming up. Just presence. In this moment, where is loving kindness? And loving kindness does not mean just saying, oh, it's all okay, and you can lose his records and you can hang up accidentally, but still hang up on me. That's fine. It means saying, no, you must take care of this, but saying it from a place of love and light, connecting to the light that is your essence. So Barbara and I had this going on for about 2 hours while she was on the phone waiting for this to happen. This is it. The world is crazy around, sometimes crazy at least. And you can hold loving space and still say no. The no does not have to come from a place of anger or hatred or frustration. But if those arise, they are simply objects to attend to hold with love as part of the human experience. And out of those experiences of frustration and confusion, you find the depth of power of love within yourself. Yeshua, I'm sharing this in part because it is relevant for what people are living in the world today, and also because it's so much the process that I saw you going through. Because there were times when you were younger when that impatience came to the fore. And because you were so committed not to take out that impatience on others, you turned it onto yourself. And then gradually you learned to hold compassion for yourself. And that brought out such a huge amount of compassion for others. And it was so really beautiful to see and enlightening to see. I could not do it, but watching you do it helped me learn how to do it in the future. I pass this to you.
Thank you,
I'm
Aaron.
Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. And thank you for what you have shared about this topic and of emotion and self-judgment. And I'd like to add a little bit more to that. If you did not have an emotional body, you would miss much of the richness of life. There are planes of existence where beings are more, I think of your, was it Dr. Spock in your Star Trek, who was very unemotional and there are beings where they are primarily, if you want to think of wired that way, because there's so many variations throughout the multiverse of beings. The human is unique and very complex. And part of that is because of the emotional body. The emotional body is probably the most problematic part of being human for many people. Many people feel they can get more, well, control, although that's not what I think is really needed, but more understanding and ability to manage thoughts or actions sometimes, but sometimes feel either overwhelmed or frightened with their emotions, and especially if they're very strong. And emotions can be confusing. It's not always easy to put a label on what it is, but your emotional body is a powerhouse for co-creativity because your emotions give you information and they help you to resonate with your experience beyond just an analytical cognitive view of things. But emotions, like thoughts and behaviors, are conditioned. So part of the growing edge, if you will, for those of you that are wishing to move more into this open-hearted, compassionate, and sometimes people will say, and without all these crazy emotion places, is to learn how to befriend your emotions. Now, if emotions are so strong that they completely override your ability to make choice, well, there's some work to do in that. But when you're angry, it tells you something. And often what it tells you is not maybe what you assume that it is telling you in the beginning. For example, if you're having a conversation with, let us say, a parent who has a certain view of you and brings up something and it triggers all kinds of other feelings in you, but always beneath whatever the obvious emotion is something deeper that can give you information if you can tune into it. So part of what you are learning to do is, first of all, to be with strong emotion without it totally derailing you and taking it over so that you feel you have no choice in how you react. And also being able to take time, it may not be in the moment, depends on the situation, to say, what is this emotion telling me? And it may have several layers. It may have the obvious layer. It may have deep-seated things there. And eventually you develop a comfort to let the emotion move. When I say to let it move, I'm not meaning when you feel anger, you let it move and you punch somebody. I don't mean it in that way, but you hold space for the anger to flush through your body and just to allow it to be and then to dissipate without acting on it. So I could say more about it. I don't want to spend too much more time there. And we've been talking about some of this in our workshops. Emotions tell you something, and they are powerful. They are the power that is behind the desires and the thoughts and the plans. Without it, you would be, well, I think of like what was it, Dr. Spock? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you would be just very focused in your mind. And some of you are so focused in your mind and don't want your emotions to be there that you become an expert at putting them in the closet or in other places till something brings them up and they require attention. So I offer you to think of yourself as a channel of energy. Think of your energy field, your chakras, however you want to think of it. So you have this channel of energy. And when emotions are generated, you can hold space and allow it to move out without acting on it. Emotions have life. Yes, they can be distorted, but they have life. But the goal is not to shut them off or hide them or demonize them or be afraid of them. This is a big work in progress for the human. And you may have heard me say, if you attended the workshops, that you can allow emotions to flow without weaponizing them. And when I say that, let us say you are in an interaction with someone. It could be interpersonal or just a frustrating one, such as Barbara went through. You're aware of the emotion, you make space for it, you allow it to move through, and you choose how you will respond. And that is entirely different from allowing that anger to come through as a projectile and you just throw it out there into the energy field, or you direct it at other people, or maybe you direct it at yourself. So one of the things that you are at the point is to learn is how to honor emotions, let them flow, and let them pass through without becoming destructive. I will leave this here. We will speak more over the course of workshops and other times on this, but you are ready not to master your emotions, but to befriend them and to use them in a positive way, even sorrow, even grief, even anger. If you had no emotions, you would not be able to have compassion. That's all I will say about it at the moment. My brother, I pass this back to you. I am Yeshua.
Thank you, Yeshua. I am Aaron. So here's a question that I think relates to what we've been speaking of in a roundabout way, and something about which I have been curious. I was a few years older than you, 5 or 6 years older. So I watched you from the time you were a little baby and growing. I watched you working with these processes, opening your heart to yourself and to others, learning how to use your energy in skillful and loving ways. Back then, I didn't really know who you were, only you were my friend. But looking back, of course, you were already awake. And yet you still had to do this work, coming into a new incarnation, to remember who you were and how to use everything about you, all the bodies, as you said, not to weaponize emotions or thoughts, but how to use them in a skillful and loving way. I wonder if this is just a question of curiosity, but I've always wondered if you remembered who you were at some level as a 3, 4, 5-year-old. If there was a conflict between what you knew to be the awakened essence of your being and this little boy named Yeshua, and how you dealt with that conflict. I pause.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm so smiling when you bring that up because I have some memories of being like 3 or 4 years old. And well, I wasn't a calm, placid, easy to raise toddler. But to address
No,
your,
you were not.
you remember. Yes, you had to deal with me. You were my older brother in the sense, who had more wisdom than I did when I was 3. So, but in any case, you asked me, did I know who I was? Of course, our essence always knows who we are. But as a toddler, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, I really didn't know. What I did know is that I had come for some reason. I did always have a sense that I had a deep purpose for being there. But I couldn't, in a 3-year-old's mind, really process through that or make sense of it. But there were many times when I would be playing alone, maybe with sticks or in the fields with you when I was a little older. And I would slip into a meditated state, or what you might think an out-of-body state or an altered state of consciousness. And there were what I would liken to in the way I perceived them as a young Yeshua, guardian angels, if you will. And they would sit with me, they would speak with me, they would play with me in a way. It wasn't all serious, but they would remind me that I came for the purpose. And the purpose was to know that I was love and that everything else was love, that there was only one in the whole creation. And I cannot say they said that in words that you would identify, but they would sit with me. And it was a transmission of energy, a transmission of love that at a higher level self I understood, but I couldn't really understand it in my 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old mind. But I always felt that I wasn't alone, meaning, of course, I wasn't alone because I had a physical family, but there were always spirit presences with me all the time who would remind me. And if I would get off track and have a temper tantrum or be angry or be in my 3, 4, 5-year-old little boy self, there was no judgment there, but there was just, be still. Remember who you are. Not just meaning myself, because all beings, where is love? Not in those words. I cannot say it was words, but it was a bringing back to center in remembrance. I pause. I pass this back. I'm Yeshua.
Thank you, Yeshua. I am Aaron. Yes. Thinking of what you've just said, I recall a time when you were perhaps 5 or 6 and I was 10 or 11. You were with me taking the sheep down from a higher pasture. We came back, they were in close, and we built a fire and sat to warm up and prepare our dinner. And you moved off into a meditation state. Now, of course, my father had taught me much about meditation. I meditated. It was part of my daily life with my father, who was a very awakened being. So I understood what you were doing, but I was surprised to see it in you. I had not seen it much before. And for several hours, you sat almost immobile. When you came back out, I asked you, where were you, Yeshua? And you said, I was with a love. And I asked you, what is it like to be with a love? What is love? I could see that you did not have the words to answer. That 5-year-old couldn't answer. You just said, it is everything. It's you and it's me and it's everything. And you smiled such a gentle, all-encompassing smile. Your energy was so radiant and loving. A little later that evening, it began to rain. quite hard. We did not have a tent. We had some kind of a covering that we could put over some sticks to give ourselves a bare amount of shelter. But it was cold and uncomfortable, and the rain put out the fire. And I saw you becoming impatient and cold and sad and angry. And being the bigger boy, I brought you to me and held you and tried to warm you and said it will pass, and asked you how you're feeling. You didn't say what might have been expected. I'm angry at the rain. You said, I'm ashamed that I'm angry. And that was very enlightening to me. My father had been teaching me about that, not to get caught up in the stories of my emotions, not to question my emotions, but to hold space around. But you were 6 years younger than me, and I didn't expect that from you. So I asked you, can you tell me more about that? You just shook your head and said, not to be ashamed about emotions, like you had just thought of it. Like you had perhaps known it forever, but not articulated it before, and you just said, oh, suddenly understanding it. And then the rain stopped, and we built up the fire and went to sleep. I pause. I am Aaron.
Thank you for sharing that memory. I can tune into that. And I remember when I had shared that I was ashamed. And I remember sharing that from a sense of just being aware that I was ashamed, but not angry at myself or judging myself that I was ashamed. Now, later on, when I was somewhat older, there were times when I would move into that because I had more of the critical self-consciousness awareness that one develops, especially as they move into adolescence. But I was blessed to have family that would simply, if you were angry or ashamed, would just say, it's okay, let it be. It's okay, let it be. Think of your lifetimes and how many instances has it been okay to just be who you are? Has it been okay to be angry? Now, I'm not saying if I was angry and being destructive, a parent shouldn't say, oh, hold on, bucko, back out. Let's go sit down and talk about it. But there's really no shame in emotions. Shame comes from judgment. Emotions are what they are. So the more you have awareness of your emotions, the less they will rule you, I guess I would say, or the less they will control you, or the less they will drag you around. You've heard that, like a ring in the nose. You're being dragged around by somebody else. Awareness is the key to freedom. Freedom in everything. Not freedom mean that nothing ever comes into one's life that's difficult, or you may never do something you wish you hadn't, or make an error in some way. Awareness is an open space that says, so this is here. This is here. It is okay that it's here. And now what shall I do with that? And maybe you do nothing with it. You let it pass by, or you put it on the shelf. You say, okay, I see in this anger, there's something else there. I'm going to set it on the shelf. And when I have time, I will come and look at it more deeply. Awareness is the opposite of conditioned reactivity. And this is what you are here to learn, because this is how you can co-create with intention, is when you have awareness of all the variables in play. I pass this back to you, Aaron. I'm Yeshua.
Thank you, Yeshua. I am Aaron. What you're saying is vital to today. So many people come to me, and I know they come to you, saying, I'm feeling this and I am upset by it, angry, afraid, and I feel powerless. As long as the emotion is what is in power, then the higher self feels powerless, overwhelmed by the emotion. But the more we can learn to open our hearts to the emotion, the more the power begins to come from the awakened self. The emotion simply has arisen and is passing away. We don't give away our power to the emotion, but we do not deny the emotion or try to force it away. Just hold space for it. When we talk about grounding light into the earth, it seems to me that this ability is the heart of our ability to ground light into the earth. I'm about to have a cat in front of the camera. I usually try to get him out of the room, but he would not be moved. How to know ourselves as light. I am the light of the world. I am the light of the universe. I am the love of the universe. Each of us, not just yes, we are all that light and love, and we ground ourselves into that power. And it is this grounding that we have as a tool to help balance the craziness on earth right now, the struggles and pain on earth right now. Yes. This, to me, is one of the greatest gifts of Yeshua's presence 2,000 years ago. The examples that he gave us through his life and his passing also. I don't say death, but transition, movement from one level of being to another. Yeshua, pass this to you, and perhaps at some point we'll want to open this floor to questions.
Thank you, Aaron. I am Yeshua, and I think it would be delightful to open this to some questions. And I want to say one thing before we move into the questions. When I've been speaking about emotion is just emotion. It's a powerful flow of energy. It gives you information. Everything has energy. So the energy of the plant or the soil or the flower or you of Joey, everything has energy. It's all going into the co-creative field. And the co-creative field can hold everything. And so what you have come to learn and what you are offered to learn is to keep moving. How shall I say this? Whatever moves through you, emotionally or even cognitively, your self-judgments and all of that, to keep the flow open. When you clamp down on something, say anger or self-judgment, you contract there. You contract that energetic flow, which is natural. But with awareness, you begin to open it. So I would like to bring this now into the immediate situation of the political situation in your country, not to speak of any particular aspect of that, but also to be aware that when you are heartbroken, when you are anger, and when you are in despair or fear about what looks in some ways like very grim things going on, and there's much difficulty on the world. But if you contract around, let's say, anger, I'm not talking about any one of you individually, but just this idea. And let us say you are projecting it on some politician. And certainly there are politicians in play right now that we understand are serving their own purposes, but the choices they wish to make are not in benefit of all beings. But if you take your own energy and you contract it and you project it, let's say at Trump, I will just use that example because this is front and center of much of what's happening in your world. There's a difference to say, I do not agree, or with whatever the laws or possibilities are within your systems to say, no, you may not, legally or otherwise. But when you become in such fear and anger and judgment, I'm not saying discernment, you need your discernment and wisdom, that you are projecting, you are intensifying the negative energies already in the field. And you are energetically bonding with that which you project with in judgment. So I will move on from this now, but I wanted to put this out there to be aware what's flowing through. No judgment if you're angry or in fear. Let it flow through. Understand when it contracts and if you weaponize or project it. You can withdraw that and you can hold loving space and say no and do everything in the power you choose to do to make change where that's possible. But if in your fear and your anger, you energetically bond with the person or the situation that you are in anger and fear against, you intensify it, and those of negative polarity feed on that. I won't speak of it more now. I won't go off on that tangent, but that does apply to what I'm speaking about awareness and flow. So I am ready to open this to questions, Aaron, if you are ready.
I am Aaron. Let me just say, each time that anger acts out, the loyal opposition dances with delight. And each time that you note the impulse to act out the anger and say, no, I will hold compassion for myself and the object of my anger both. And then I will speak from an open heart with clarity and love rather than anger. Then the loyal opposition says, oh, be careful, they're getting it. They're learning something we don't want them to learn.
Yes.
Well, not quite that, because we're learning something that they have not yet any understanding of, but we're getting out of reach. They can't control us when we move into a place of light and love. That which has no knowledge of light and love cannot have any influence except their own negativity on that which does understand love and light.
Yes. Yes.
Barbara was singing to herself on that long phone conversation. Now and then that song, let the sun shine in, face it with a grin. Darkness, I can't remember the words. Open up your heart and let the sun shine in. You may know that song. Yeah, let the sun shine in. Anger never wins. Love never loses. Yes, we open this to your questions.
Good evening, all. Good evening, Aaron and Yeshua. I have what I hope is a happy ending question, and it's for Aaron. And what I would like to know is, what was the journey of the spirit that was your wife subsequent to her passing in your incarnation as Nathaniel? I pause.
We were very dear to each other, very close in love. We worked together around the sheep and our family. We shared many views. She was a deeply loving person. We had three children together. First, Mark. Then, several years later, a child who died very early in his life. Then two more young children within a few years. So we had Mark and these two beloved younger children. And then with the birth of the next child, she died in childbirth.
Mhm.
Of course, I deeply grieved, as did Mark. And the two younger children grieved their mother, but they had aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents, many people to cherish and support them. Her journey, that's her own private karmic journey. So I'm not sure beyond that what your question is.
Okay. I guess I'm kind of interested in as a human being, as an incarnated being with the obscuration of this incarnation, I'm still very interested, or nevertheless very interested in the arc of the spirit as they go about their incarnations. And I just would like to know more about that. And so my question was whether that spirit had a good journey, and if there was something that could be shared, what that subsequent journey was. I pause.
That beautiful being and I had future incarnation together. As siblings, actually, very close to each other, twins. So we continued to share in future lifetime and to grow together. She was and is a very beautiful being.
Thank you, Aaron and Yeshua, for your sharing. And you both, especially Yeshua, shared a lot about emotions and how to work with emotions. So really, my question is two-part. First of all, I've heard you say in the past, I believe it was Aaron, that not all beings on other planes have an emotional body like we do. And so I'm wondering, what's the purpose of having an emotional body? Yeshua, this evening you said that without emotions there couldn't be compassion. So is the purpose of having an emotional body to help us deepen in compassion? Or is there some other reason or reasons why we have emotional bodies?
I am Yeshua, and I can start an answer to that question. So, as I said, there are many types of individuations throughout the multiverse. And there are beings that aren't, if you will, wired with an emotional body. So cognitively, they have an understanding of what you would call love, being non-harm, and they can choose to not enact harm. But they don't experience the kind of waves of strong emotion that a human can. And it's not that one is good or bad. The creation is filled with so many types of beings that have conscious awareness that express on different planes. And many of you have had expressions on different planes that were not human as well. But in the human mind, body, spirit complex, the emotions attune you to not only your own life experience, but your relationships to others in a way that causes an energetic resonance that goes beyond cognition. And it's very powerful. And that's one of the challenges of being human. And one of the gifts is that one begins to befriend and allow emotions to flow. It colors life in a different way. And it doesn't mean it's better than other expressions, but it is the gift of the human. And when the human comes into a comfortable relationship with emotions, it has the ability to bring incredible, not only compassion, but creativity. But every being that exists, no matter on what plane, has its own purposes. But in a plane of existence where emotion is more, it's not really that flow of intense energies. Just think of anger when it moves through you. A being that is purely cognitive will make choice about what they decide is right or wrong or moral or appropriate. But they don't have this intense physicality. Emotions are energy, but they also are energy that moves through a physical vehicle. And that makes a whole different palette of colors and a whole variety of shades of emotional experience and capacity for relationship. I am Yeshua. I'm happy to answer further.
I am Aaron. May I speak a bit to that also? Thank you, Yeshua. One other important part of this for the human experience and the experience of Earth itself is the importance of free will choice. Those beings that do not have an emotional body may be more deeply attuned to knowing themselves as part of all that is, because there's no emotional block to being that love or that sadness. So there can be compassion. There's less of a sense of separate self. In moving through karma and co-creating through the Akashic field, when there is emotion, there is a strong catalyst to come to know the true self as related to the individuated self, but all that is the source and the expression of the source, and to hold both together rather than separating into I am love, I am divine, and pushing away any feelings of negativity or separation, or getting lost in the separation. I find the emotional body is one important way of connecting into that. The one who has that free will choice and is aware of both the individuated self and the connection. The individuated self showing itself through the arising of strong emotion, strong physical experience also, but especially emotion. And how that creates a bit of a separation from the knowing of the connection. And then the intention, I hold it all together for the highest good. I choose to connect and to be, to live from the higher self, while at the same time allowing this human to experience all the physical, emotional, and mental catalyst. I pause.
Well, it is interesting that whenever we are gathering together on Zoom, there is always some interference somewhere. Maybe not with everybody, but either in our system or in our own lives. Well, not my life as Yeshua, but Colette's life or Barbara's life, or even John when you are teaching a class or something. We gather quite a bit of attention. Not always welcomed, but this is part of the learning. But John, I just wanted to segue off briefly on your comment about emotion, and just to say, emotions are probably the most problematic aspect of the third density human experience. All of you have had experiences on other planes, And so a part of you knows it doesn't have to be this way, but if you put this in perspective, the third density human, the span of, if you want to think of it as spiritual growth within third density, is from like toddlers to early teenagers. So the development of the ability to understand and work with emotions is a process within third density. And we'll think of back to either children you have raised or your own days of being an early teenager, how confusing life can be. So humanity is in this, this borderline shift to fourth density, and the ability to work with deep awareness and emotion is their leading edge.
The question that I have tonight is about fear of rejection and desire to be liked. And I think about the Christ energy, coming into a world that reacted so violently to it. And like I notice in myself a desire to be liked by a certain person, and trying to sit with the invitation of holding the human who wants love and connection, with love and acceptance. But also there's a little thought around like, well, if I was connected, right? If I really felt more connected to that source of love, then it wouldn't matter, who liked me. And so I wonder if you could speak to that.
So I'm Yeshua. I will speak to that. And I also want to normalize that wanting to be liked, wanting to be accepted is purely natural, especially in this human incarnation when you are born to be social beings, and your existence, not only as far as staying alive, but even within community, is dependent on that ability in many ways to connect and to relate. And also, for many, there is this sense of unworthiness, sense of rejection, a sense that you may never measure up or be adequate to friendship or relationship or other things. For many of you, or some of you, I won't speak for all of you, you have either been raised in families where there was a primary rejection from a parent or someone in a caregiver parental role. That can greatly color your perception of yourself and perception of either not being worthy or preoccupation. Well, how do I get worthy? So how do I make people happy? How do I get them to like me? It's all, there's no judgment to any of it. It comes from experiences that many of you have had. And of course, some of that sometimes you bring through with intention to work more deeply with that here now in this plane of existence. So it is something to be honored and tenderly held, not as judgment, but also finding that place in yourself where you can be aware of that, but know who you are and honor who you are.
Yeah, I feel sort of sadness as you talk about the like the impact of upbringing, and there's just the thought like, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to come back from that, and yeah, probably part of the path, and reason for incarnation in this culture, etc. But yeah, it's painful.
It is very painful. And now you have a little one that you can give a foundation of love and knowing their value from the moment of their beingness. And it may seem contradictory, but sometimes the primal wound, if you will, that one may carry, either they bring it into the incarnation or it's something that comes about within the incarnation, also becomes the seed for an incredible gift when one knows what it's like to be rejected or feel unworthy. Then one has an open heart to not only begin to hold themselves, but to hold others in that same place of love and worthiness. And it can become, the wound can become a gift, but it is not easy. I'm Yeshua. Aaron, do you have anything you would like to add to that?
I'm Aaron. Thank you, Yeshua. And I would add to that. You said the wound can become a gift. I think it's very precious to be able to hold your very young baby in your arms. Look into the eyes. Feel the love coming from that being and your love to that being. Recognize, Alex, that your capacity to love has always been there. Sometimes it was thwarted by emotions or pain or confusion, but the capacity to love is inborn to you. It's your birthright. Now, with this new child, you have the opportunity through the child and your relationship, and no, you are not new to each other, only new in this lifetime, as the child is new to this incarnation. But you have the opportunity now to deeply move into the experience of unconditional love. This child, as a teenager, I'm sure he will reject you. But right now, he is not rejecting you. You are his world. You and the mother are his world. So you have the opportunity to just have a very pure love for each other. And to note, without knowing any details, sometimes in our past karma together, we have been at odds with each other, been angry with each other. And I cannot let all that go as you have let it go. And we will not relearn it with each other. And then you can turn to conscious relationships in this life that were meaningful and say, I choose also to begin the process of letting that go and just letting love take over and to heal it through that love. I pause. I am Aaron.
I heard both of you talk about Nathaniel's broken leg, and Yeshua said that he wasn't ready for healing, or he needed to heal himself. So he would not touch him and heal him instantly. And I'm just wondering if Yeshua could expand on how he decided whether someone was ready for that instant healing or not.
Thank you for that question, Corey. I think it's
Yes, before you answer that, let me say one thing that I think is some misunderstanding. No one can heal another, not even Yeshua, unless that person is working together with him and ready for that healing. So it's not Yeshua saying, well, you're not ready. It's the person's whole energy field and everything about that person saying, yes, I'm ready to move forth, or no, I'm not. That being has free will, and Yeshua cannot impose on that being's free will and say, well, you're asking for it verbally, so I'll give it to you, but I know you don't want it, but here it is. I had free will. I did not really want to heal. I wanted to hold on to my anger and my pain. That's what needed to be healed, not the leg. I passed this then on to Yeshua.
Thank you, Aaron. This is Yeshua. So people sometimes have an understanding that I, as Yeshua, or other evolved spirit beings, can unilaterally come in and change circumstances or heal. Now, there are beings that are very powerful sources of energy. And if you want to think of healing as changing something, they do that, but they may do that in violation of the deeper free will of somebody. They may do that to obtain power or manipulate or for ego gratification to use their energetic abilities to bring a change. Although that's not true healing, but say heal a leg and it will mend quickly. Of course, Aaron and I were deep friends for eons, and although he in his expression right then did not have all that deep awareness at the time, I knew that he came for a different purpose. The leg was part of the reason to make the journey, but the deeper purpose was that he needed time away, that he needed to rest, that he needed to grieve, that he needed time to decide, how will I, or am I ready to move forward? And so what I offered was an energetic container of love to hold space for wherever he was at. And while I knew he was angry that I just didn't come out and say, I lay hands on you and be healed, and he could get up and walk away, his deeper essence knew that that was not what was needed. So by not healing the leg instantaneously, I was honoring his deepest free will choice, and also honoring that he needed time to rest and grieve and all of these things that I had said.
He was willing to step back and not heal the leg and incur my wrath and to hold space for my wrath rather than trying to avoid my wrath and fix it.
Thank you
Corey.
for sharing that. Yes, Aaron.
But so I guess you're saying that you had a deeper connection to understand what he really wanted, even though consciously he wasn't aware of it himself.
Yes. And many times beings are in desperate pain and suffering, emotional or otherwise, and deeply seek healing, and that is to be honored. But I, as Yeshua, or any other positively oriented being who has capacities to help with energetic healing and such, we will never, ever violate someone's free will. And we never do it unilaterally. Like saying lay on of hands. You have heard stories of laying on of hands and the blind could see and the deaf could hear. Well, but there was so much more to that. So even now, sometimes people will come to speak with me and they're deeply suffering and wish to be healed or wish to be told how to heal. And they're very unhappy with me when I don't just say be healed and it's over with, because there's something deeper there. But it's not always understandable from the human perspective.
My love to you all. Yeshua, it's such a joy to do this with you. Thank you. And my thanks to Colette and Barbara for making it possible. I am Aaron. My blessings and love to you, and my wishes for a very joyful holiday season. I know Hanukkah comes next week. The miracle of light, the season of light. And there are other different traditions. The winter solstice, for example, and the bringing forth of new light. In all ways, we welcome and honor the light. I am Aaron. Thank you, Colette and Yeshua. Thank you all for joining us. I am Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. No closing statement other than we are old friends. You are dearly loved. We chose to walk this together. And you have so much to bring to this world. And I know it's difficult and I know it's frustrating. But, well, using a Colette phrase, When you get to the spirit planes, we will party down. And it will all make sense. So I use you with Colette's humorous phrase. My love to you. I am Yeshua. I will leave the body. Thank you, Yeshua.
Thank you. This is Barbara saying good night and love to everybody. I think our loyal opposition really did not want us to speak tonight. We bring a lot of light into these sessions. So loving perseverance gets it done. That's all. Good night.